happy day, happy day, everyone. I am Erica Kessie, a love force with mysterious wisdom, celebrating life, and I am so excited to be celebrating Mental Health Awareness Month with you all. And I do this annually every May. This is my favorite month because I bring a panel, and let me tell you, I have a spectacular uh, display of the mental health industry right here for you all today. And I am so pleased to be spending time with them and for them to share their expertise with you today. And so we're going to go through and I'll let you all know what the agenda is. And we are so pleased to be here. So let's go ahead and get started. We're first going to do introductions. So everybody's going to go through and introduce themselves. Then we're going to answer particular questions. I know that the mental health industry can be, or mental health itself can be very daunting for people. And we really want you to have a good understanding of what it is and how you can insert yourself into it so that you can get whatever you are needing from the industry. Now, I will also want to let you all know and answer the question, what is mental health? When people think about mental health, they always think about mental illness. Mental health is not mental illness. Mental health is everything but your physical health. That includes your social emotional health, your spiritual health, everything that has to go with it. It's not just your mind, though, it is your emotions, it is everything about you outside of your physical health. So we should be taking care of it, right? We shouldn't be hiding away from it. But guess what? That's what a lot of us are doing, even now, even now. So that's why we're here to share information and for you to see just how vast this industry is, all the designations, and how you should show up as a consumer when you are trying to interact with the mental health industry. And you pick and choose who you want to work with and how you want to work with them. So you all, welcome, welcome, welcome all the people here. I see we have a very big guest who are here, and we will love to hear from you. Please comment any questions that you've ever had. Oh yeah, the Ericas are representing today. I have to tell you all one thing. Where I was putting together this group, right? Because I like to have different groups, and I always think about diversity. So I want all the different races. I like to have as many different diverse crew here as possible. But I did go in, I have to say, and look for all the Ericas. I did it anyway. You all, I am so pleased to be here, and yeah, we are representing in the house. Hello, Anna. Thank you for mentioning that, and hello, Jay. Mental health includes all the struggles we have to balance. Come on, Jay, with the comments. You all keep on coming through with all the comments. We'll make sure we will represent you and allow you to be heard. Any question that you may have wanted to ask a mental health person, or you've been thinking about that you need some answers and you did not have that, you have 6, 7 ladies here who will be happy to benefit you today so that you can make the right decisions for your mental health. So, no further ado, let us go ahead and go into introductions. All right, first we're going to have Chanel. She is going to introduce herself, and then we'll go to Nispa, then Erica Priscilla, Erica Spring, Renata, and Dina. Go ahead, Chanel.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, Erica, for inviting me to be here. I am Dr. Chanel Thomas. I'm dual board certified as a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, as well as a family nurse practitioner. I'm the owner and founder of Blue Sage Wellness. It's a psychiatric private practice here in Nashville, Tennessee. We see mainly Black and brown, queer, and trans folks with kind of any mental health struggles ranging from mood disorders to neurodivergence and things like that, offering medication management, alternative to medications for those that are hesitant and have some trepidations to medications, so some holistic alternatives, as well as brief psychotherapy. I am a anime nerd and a horror movie fanatic. So if y'all ever have any questions about stuff like that, I am your girly.
Oh my word. I did not know you were an anime nerd. Chanel is, I'm so happy that we got connected with each other. I have the pleasure of working with her as her mentor, her business mentor, because of course, like she's a doctor. I'm not yet. I'm more work on it. But so when I wanted someone that specifically can talk to the topic of medication. So because there's also psychiatrists that provide that, but Dr. Chanel can as well talk to you about that. Your PCP can provide medication, and also a psychiatric a pharmacist can provide medication. So there's so many things that you can learn, and I wanted to make sure she was representing. We needed someone to represent medication regarding the mental health industry. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Chanel. And the next person is Miss Buck.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Misbah Qureshi, coming live from Towson, Maryland here. So, in a nutshell, my background is marriage and family therapy. So, I am a relational therapist, relational trauma expert from the start. And, a lot of times people ask you, like, why did you get into this field? And my simplest answer is my own family, okay? Yes. Yes, I'm sure you all can relate. There's always a survival story around that. I used to be the curious child. I was always questioning people, why they were moving, why did people do certain things to each other when we're supposed to love each other and take care of each other. So like my own background really shaped who I am as a family therapist and a healer. Yet I will say the journey has been very rewarding, yet challenging in the sense that you go into this work, this mental health work, you have this entire vision, and then bam, the systems hit you, okay? Like, whoa, I didn't sign up for this, right? And then my family's exactly where I left them, by the way. So as you can see, I thrive in helping others. My goal is one individual, one family, one community at a time. I am the founder and owner of Umeed Center for Healing Relationships, which is a private group practice. I lost my parents 4 and 5 years ago, so I started this journey of transforming, going from the corporate world to my own legacy. And Umeed Center is my parents' legacy around healing. That's how I keep them very close to my heart while I'm making a difference in people's lives. And then, fun fact. I love Punjabi music. I'm a dancer at heart. I will dance my way into session and dance my way out of session. So that's it for me. And thank you so much for having me here.
Yes. Oh, I'm so pleased to have you here. So dynamic. So now we need Erica Princella, please.
Yes, hi everyone. Thanks for having me, Erica. Really appreciate it. I'm Erika Priscilla. I'm a clinical social worker, so I'm representing social workers here. A Latina from Ecuador, born in Ecuador, raised in Astoria, Queens. I'm coming in from Long Island City, Queens, in New York City, which is a beautiful neighborhood. It's a very diverse neighborhood. So I'm the founder of 3 businesses, but I'm here representing as the executive director of Siembra Today, which is a nonprofit that supports in providing accessible mental health and wellness for the Latina community through holistic practices and education. And we do this through storytelling, our books, Latinx and Social Work. We've had 3 volumes that have been released in English and 2 in Spanish. They share so many incredible stories of social workers, of the diaspora that are navigating their career as they're healing post-trauma, and we call it post-traumatic growth stories. So we can inspire our communities to really lean into mental health services, however that feels right for them. And in addition, I'm the founder of Sandoval Collab, which is a collaboration of incredible mental health practitioners and holistic practitioners. So we incorporate a lot of Reiki, sound baths. I personally work with ketamine-assisted psychotherapy. We do a lot of breath work, and we have a gorgeous space in Long Island City called Casa Wellness, where all the healers connect. They heal themselves. We care for each other as a community and also support our community. And so, a fun fact, I never loved cats. I was always been a dog mom, always my whole life. And then all of a sudden, my boyfriend just like scooped in this little kitty when we moved into our new place. And as soon as I picked her up, I fell in love. And now I'm a cat mom of 3 cats. So, and now it's like, and it's crazy because I truly do feel that they're amazing energy healers. So I'm like, oh, this is my healer. This is, the playful one. So I'm just loving my life right now as a cat mom, and also with all the work that I'm doing, because if we can't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of others. And that's a lot of what we share at Siembra today. And so we provide a lot of wellness retreats, and my first one's coming up in Colombia, Pereira, Colombia. So I'm excited to hold space for these amazing practitioners across the country. So thank you for having me.
Oh, I am so pleased. I am just blown away already with just the first 3. You all, oh my goodness. Do you see the diversity here? This is the kind of thing we should be seeing all the time, streamed out, the diversity in this industry, but also amongst the what you can pursue if you're interested as a consumer to work with a certain type of person. We should try things until we find the right fit. So now, Erica Spring, please share your introduction.
Well, I am Erica Spring, and I am the owner of Spring Services, which is my private practice. I've been here since 2016. Pivoted away from that brick and mortar to telehealth in March 2020. After 2 weeks, I was going to go back, and it's 5 years later. And I love telehealth because living in Missouri, we serve a very, very rural population that normally would just be ignored outright. And thanks to advances in telehealth, the breadth and reach now has really, really been extraordinary. I am a writer. I'm a poet. I share love of dance. I am a music fiend. Guilty pleasure is Dolly Parton. That's me with my family, with the Queen Dolly. She is my life inspiration. We're all from the South down in where I'm from in Mississippi. And so mental health wasn't even talked about. And so I kind of got here like most of you, which is by way of family. I completely desired answers for things that I could not find in my backyard, which were things like, what is mental health? What is anxiety? What is trauma? And so I currently serve PTSD, specifically complex PTSD, people with high adverse childhood experiences. Those are my people. I do identify as a wounded healer, and I think that that's an important thing because through our work with other humans, I feel that we often heal ourselves. And that certainly means that this is a multi-layer process. We always have something to learn from our clients, and hopefully we bring things to them. Some of the things that I definitely bring to my clients is, a lot of EMDR. I am an EMDR therapist. I've been practicing for 10 years. I've got a massive, massive interest in doing research, and I currently am in a cohort with the VA in coordination with Stanford University and University of Texas, where we are researching PTSD protocols for families of the military as well as direct service members. And so all of that is to say, I am loving what you ladies are doing. I think that we are some multifaceted queens, and I am just happy to be here today.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much. And the beautiful ladies continue. Now we're going to have Renata. Please provide your introduction.
Hello, everybody. My name is Renata Dalton. So I am an empathetic encourager, is what I like to say. And so I am the co-owner and co-founder of Empowered Living. So that's my group practice. Then I am the owner and founder of Beautifully Human, which is my private practice. So I have, like all these other ladies, I have a lot of letters behind my names. So to make it short, my degree is in marriage family therapy, but I'm a licensed mental health counselor. And then what makes me unique is that I am a certified sexologist and a certified inclusive sex coach. So like everyone else has said, I ended up in this journey because I was curious about my family. I was a very, very curious child. wanted to be an OBGYN. That didn't work out. So my mentor at the time was like, be a marriage family therapist, and specialize in sexuality. So I think it's something that we don't talk enough about. People know how to have sex in theory, um, but they don't always know all the other stuff that goes with sexuality. We just stop at sex and we don't think about how it impacts us in every area of our life: self-esteem, financially, emotionally, spiritually. We don't talk about any of that. So I'm so honored that I get to be here with this esteemed panel. Thank you, Erica, for inviting me. My fun fact. Um, I love a documentary. Oh, I love a documentary. And it's a variety. I can't even tell you which ones I'm watching right now because I'm watching like five. So so I love dabbling in documentary. I love learning history. Um, I love learning why we do what we do, and how people end up in certain situations and don't even realize how they end up there. So thank you. I'm very excited.
Wonderful. Thank you, Renata. I'm so happy to have you here. I needed a sex therapist. I just needed it. I needed it because I like sex, and I think we should all be talking about it over and over and all the time, because there's bad messages everywhere about it. We should be talking about the good messages and how to actually have pleasure. We're supposed to be having fun, dancing and singing and playing with cats and all the things, you know? So, Dina, please provide your introduction.
Yes, good afternoon. I am Dina Johnson, representing Rochester, New York. I am also a marriage and family therapist. We think very systemic. We are across the lifespan. It is just not one individual, but it's individual couples and families. I also found my passion in mental health because, similar to Rhonda, I wanted to be a psychiatrist and did go almost down the path. But I branched off to a marriage and family therapist, and so happy that I did because I'm all about families. I currently work at St. Joseph Neighborhood Center, where we serve the underserved community when it represents underinsurance and folks who don't have insurance. And so that is the population I really love to work with, because I also have once come from the underserved community. In addition to that, I also hold the founder of two different organizations and the president and CEO of Monroe County Family Coalition. And because I think systemically, I love working with families and youth. We are known for our mental health workshops, support groups, and also our second annual Youth and Family Wellness Conference that's coming up, because I think that you need both systems and other systems, key stakeholders, to be a part of this. And I'm also starting my for-profit DJ Collaboratives, where we'll be mentoring young girls from the ages of 13 to 21 and life coaching skills from 22 to 30. So I'm very excited to be here. And a fun fact for me is that I love to shop. I love the movies, and I also love my gospel.
Nice.
Absolutely amazing. What spectacular introductions you ladies have provided. And it really just goes to show just how multifaceted each one of us are, how we used the knowledge that we received with going to school and getting getting the letters or getting the designations that we have, and to show up in the ways that we feel the best that we can show up, because it's so broad and advanced, so broad on how we can show up for people. And going into that, we have a question. So I would like for you all to answer that question as we go back around. Answer that question, as well as if you did not address what your discipline and how it sets apart from other designations. Please answer that question, because it's really important for people to really understand. We have all these letters, right? But people don't know what them letters are. Okay, so break down what really is happening with the letters and why they're there and what they mean for people. So let's start with Chanel and go back through, and please answer this question that was posed by Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. So psychiatric nurse practitioners are pretty distinct from other disciplines in that it goes with the nursing model. So psych nurse practitioners, or really any nurse practitioners, first have to complete a bachelor's degree in nursing school, typically get some experience and go back to school for their master's in a specialized field. So you can go back to school for the psychiatric mental health field, and oftentimes it's across the lifespan. Go back to school for FNP, go back to school for women's health, go back to school for acute care. So it's in that specialty. What sets psychiatric nurse practitioners apart from psychiatrists, because we're all called like from in terms of mental health, med prescribers or med providers. Psych NPs usually do the whole person and nursing model, which is centered on the whole person. And we look at more so kind of the spiritual component, the cultural component, nutrition, things like that. Whereas kind of the medical model may look more in terms of kind of disease process and pathology of that. We have psych nurse practitioners have the ability to prescribe, diagnose, and provide some brief psychotherapy depending on the training of the psychiatric nurse practitioner. And then we also work with varying levels of acuity. So we work inpatient, outpatient, correctional facilities, with psychosis, with depression, different things like that. Psych NPs often fill in critical care gaps. So maybe in some more rural communities, you'll find more psych NPs rather than a psychiatrist. So that kind of sets us apart from therapists as well as kind of psychiatrists. In terms of the question, can mental health be seen as visible, invisible, or neurodivergent disability? I would say all three. You have kind of the invisible, so we talk more mood disorders, anxiety, depression, things like that, where you can't actually see what's going on, and it's not as apparent. You have kind of neurodivergence, which is under the Americans with Disabilities Act categorized as a disability, can be offered accommodations. Neurodivergent being folks with like autism, ADHD, OCD, things like that. And then you have visible symptoms or apparent of a mental health condition. So like psychosis, so those kind of maybe bizarre behaviors that may occur with psychosis. Complex PTSD, having the actual physical symptoms, or kind of a functional neurological disorder from trauma and having physical symptoms, manifestations that isn't explained by any physical condition, and it's rooted in mental health. So I mean, that's a really great question. Thank you, Jay, for asking that.
Yes, and thank you so much for answering. And we definitely, I really needed your answer here in this space. It was wonderful to share the difference between how you interact versus a psychiatrist. And it's also probably beneficial to even us here on partnering, because we partner with individuals like Chanel, but also psychiatrists, PCPs, or anyone that will prescribe medication if we do not provide that, and we feel like maybe there should be something that's there for a person. So we also, if you're a mental health provider, definitely sometimes don't know all of what is possible, and we should be understanding that as well. So thank you so much for the thorough answer. And Ms. Bott, you're next. Please provide the designation for yourself and the difference, and also answer the question.
Great. So I will try to condense this down as much as possible. So I am at heart, I am a trained marriage and family therapist. So my bachelor's, master's, and PhD is in couple and family therapy. I myself was going to take the traditional medical school route, and I did my pre-med and everything, and I realized I sucked in the sciences. And then I took a family studies elective course, and I was like, bam, that's what I'm about to do. And I got all straight A's. That's how I knew I was following my passion. And then years later, in 2017, I graduated with my master's my PhD in couple and family therapy. So I do want to highlight here, we have different disciplines. And one of the things that I tell current clients, but also families that I work with that are looking for the right fit when it comes to psychotherapy, right? Because we have LC, professional counselors, psychologists, marriage and family therapists, and social workers. All of us are kind of lumped into the same category because we do there's a lot of overlap in the work that we do, right? Depending on your schooling background, but also your interest and where you have expanded in your certifications like EMDR, technically all of us here can be EMDR trained after we get a master's degree or a PhD, right? So we do a lot of things, right? Which is great. I think as a system, you have these options to support individuals and families from a mental health perspective. So there's more options out there, right? More experts. Yet the difference that I find in being a marriage and family therapist versus a social worker, a psychologist, and counselor as well is the systemic portion of looking at things, right? You do get, you get pieces of cultural diversity, you get, you talk about historical, sociocultural factors, right? You get all that training, but as a trained marriage and family therapist, there's something very phenomenal about bringing people in the room. So one of the things I do is from the beginning, I'm like, we need more people involved in therapy. And I am not sure if other disciplines necessarily move that way. I think they see the need to bring families in to collaborate, yet I'm actually doing the work with the family. Like when parents drop children off, I'm like, this is not a babysitting service. This is not respite care for y'all. You need to come in for a family session. Why? Because, depending on the age of the kid, there's only so much work you can do. Most of the work is done with the parents around their parenting, their intergenerational traumas, right? And the isms of the world, right? So yeah, your kid is experiencing anxiety and they're 6 or 7, but that anxiety most likely has been projected onto your attachment and how you have co-regulated in your household, right? So for me, it's a done deal. You got to be involved. Of course, I do individual therapy. I do couples therapy. I do family therapy. I also do group. I do a lot of things. Yet at the core of it, it's all systemic. It's all relational. Even in individual sessions, I'm looking at intergenerational patterns. How are you showing up, putting all the pieces to the puzzle together? So with that, currently at Umeed Center, we have an art therapy program. So we have art therapy interns. That's another discipline we got to look into that's evolving and growing. I also have DNP, doctoral nurse practitioner, and doctoral interns as well. And I tell you, they run away from family therapy, away from couples therapy. So kind of just weaning in. And my goal is to create and do trainings with future mental health professionals to become more comfortable in having more than one person in the room. Because the reality is when you have more than one person, there's more than one layer of traumas involved, which includes triggers and emotions, etc. Right? So at the core of it, to me, I'm very collaborative. I'll do CBT, DBT, I'll do somatic, I'll do art interventions as well. But at the center of it, I am a marriage and family therapist at heart. And I wouldn't change it for the world. And then I guess in terms of the question, I agree with Dr. Chanel. I think there's visible, there's invisible, and even the term neurodivergent, right? That's also a newer term in the field, so we can normalize mental health, right? Language is very, very important. And another example would be, back in the day when NA started, Alcohol Anonymous started, the 12-step recovery program, you went up in front of people and said, I am an addict. Mm-hmm. We don't say that anymore. I am struggling with addiction. I am struggling with alcoholism, right? So even the term neurodivergent, it's amazing. Like to me, I think language is really important as we normalize and destigmatize mental health. And then Erica and everybody else, I can just go into all the cultural dynamics of visibility and invisibility in mental health, right? Classic example. When someone's sleeping all the time, they get labeled as lazy. No, they're clinically depressed, possibly, right? And that's visible and invisible in many ways. So again, there's an integration of everything, and I think we can do a panel on just that question. So thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
For following up.
Thank you so much for your response. Now we're going to move to Erica Priscilla.
Yes, I love the way you pronounce my name, Erica. Thank
I
you.
wanted to get it right. I didn't get it right the
You
first
got
time.
it.
Listen,
Got
I'm
it.
all about
Thank you.
saying it right.
I hear you. Absolutely. So clinical social work. So I'm one of 3 social workers in my family, just FYI. I'm the oldest, so I always say that they followed in my footsteps. So you can imagine the conversations, how we argue. It's so, there's no passive aggressive. And if there is, we call each other out in a very gentle way. Conversations, it's really interesting. So to be a social worker, different states have different ways that you can obtain your clinical license. I have the clinical social work license, which means that I can have a professional limited liability company that I can host other social workers under my license to provide therapeutic one-on-one or group. And I can supervise. I'm also CIFI, meaning I can also supervise students and interns and new therapists. And so you have to obtain a couple of licenses to get to that place. You first have to, in certain states, in New York State, you have to get your license, your LMSW. And this is a test that you have to take in order to be able to provide services under an LCSW for mental health. Then you have to obtain 3,000 hours, 3 years in order to ensure that you can be trained and have over 100 hours of supervision by an LCSW. And once you obtain all those hours, you can sit for the exam, and then you can pass this exam, really celebrate, because this has been a very difficult exam that has been actually known. ASWB released some of the test scores, and individuals of color have had the highest rate of failure in this exam. So there's a lot of movement, a lot of advocacy around that, but that's a whole other panel. So as it is, it's a whole other panel, whole other discussion.
It's a lot of matters.
It's a lot. So as a licensed clinical social worker, I'm able to diagnose, I'm able to supervise, I'm able to hold a practice, I'm able to provide consultations. We also provide biopsychosocials. We do one-on-one work. We also are in the group work. My love is group work. I really started with group work, and I love working with communities and sitting in community and really establishing like the group work model in order to support in the healing, because the medicine comes from each individual person. There's a lot of healing when you're really in community. And what is really interesting about what I do is when I incorporated holistic practices, I really was thinking about ancestral wisdom, all the wisdom that we had from the past that we're no longer really talking about because we're assimilating to a culture that's not ours. And everyone has wisdom from their ancestors. And sometimes we forget about all of that. So we started really going back to what are some of the tools and how have people healed and really sat together. And through elders sitting around in a fire circle, there's amazing, amazing healing that is being done within that space. So what we're trying to do is really replicate this model in a way that it aligns with a therapeutic modality by decolonizing social work a little bit. So I'm one of those social workers that is doing a lot of different things, talking about this across the country at different conferences. People are leaning in, they're asking a lot of questions, and really wanted to see, let's not just put a diagnosis on a client, let's really look at the way that they experience their own patterns of behavior. Where is it coming from? There's like a lot of things that are not theirs that they're bringing in from their ancestors. They're bringing in from lineage. They're bringing in from the family dynamics, systemic family circle. And we really want to be able to provide them the tools that they need to self-regulate and build like resilience and really see their power and understanding. These are tools that we may have had that we may have forgotten. And so we do a lot of this work in groups and in collaboration with incredible holistic practitioners and elders that come from different countries. Today, we're hosting one of the most amazing elders, Nana Marina, at Casa Wellness. She came from Guatemala, and we're having a cacao circle. So you can imagine our clients come in for talk therapy, and they see we have about 12 therapists that are under my license. And they also offer, there's these other different groups that if you're called to join, and they're coming in to sit with cacao in the circle with other incredible people, and they're really learning a lot about the 4 different elements and just really having some wisdom conversations and really connecting with their own medicine, which is us. We have the medicine to heal ourselves. We do. We just need to feel empowered. We need to feel guided. We need to understand our truth, our words. Words are so powerful. And a lot of the times we have been speaking to ourselves in such a negative way because we have been overdiagnosed, because we have been misdiagnosed. I want to share a little something. I am actually neurodivergent. I was recently diagnosed in 2020. I had no idea that this was my battle. I didn't know how to name it. I knew that what I was experiencing throughout my life, I knew it was difficult for me to sit still, to study, but I was always doing great in school, but I never really studied ever. And I mean, my parents are like, how is this happening? But when I was young, I was really seen as someone that had behavioral issues. And the more trauma that you experience, the more likely to have those symptoms. And so a lot of our families may be misdiagnosed as neurodivergent, but it's because they're not addressing the trauma that they're experiencing. So we are here to do this educational piece. So that's what Siembra Today does. We really educate our families. We educate social workers, we educate licensed mental health practitioners to really understand how can we better hold space for our community while really understanding their culture, their ancestral wisdom, and giving them tools so they can put in their toolbox and not be afraid to say, I need support, yo necesito apoyo, I need help. Because a lot of the times we were taught to not cry, we were taught to not ask for support, we were taught to keep things a secret. Like there's no way that 20 years ago, I would be able to sit with my parents or my family and talk about mental health. Now, everyone's saying, mi terapista me dijo, and translate it, my mom would be like, my therapist told me. I'm like, do you know how amazing it is for your mom to say, well, look, she's quoting her therapist. So all of us as sisters are looking at each other like, okay, this is good. This is a really good. So it's never too late. It's never too late to undo that stigma, to seek support. And so when you're thinking about visible, invisible, or neurodivergent disability, mental health is exactly what you described, Erica. It's the overall well-being of a human being.
Yes.
It's the spiritual, it's the mind, the body, the spirit, it's all of that. So when you think about your mental health, don't think of it as just as a diagnosis. Don't think of it as just, I'm going to see a therapist. Think about, how am I feeling? How do I feel within my body, within my mind? What am I lacking? I think about like a table, and if the table is wobbly because one of the what do you call them? See, my neurodivergence is kicking in.
Legs, one of the legs.
Yes, one of the legs. One of the legs is broken or not stable enough. You're going to be wobbly. So think about it as, yes, there's certain things that you may not be able to see, but you're feeling. There's certain things that you may be able to see, but that doesn't mean you have to identify with all of that. And let's not talk about disability. I like to say neurospicy because we have some amazing skill sets. Like my neurospiciness helped me create 3 books, 3 businesses in 3 years. So that's why I picked the number 3. So thank you so much for that question, and thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for your response. Oh my goodness, this is so good. This is so good. Okay, you all, I just want to say I'm gonna toot my own horn because I am so excited that you all are sharing such amazing responses. So good. So let's let the party keep on continuing. We are celebrating Mental Health Awareness Month, and now, Erica Spring, please tell us. Please answer the question, and also
Yes.
how your designation is different, or how do you interact with it?
Absolutely. So, yeah, I honestly was not supposed to be here, I assure you. Okay. So I really wanted to be a lawyer because I can argue with anybody about anything at any time. And you have to have a degree. So in my backyard is one of the world's first and finest journalism schools, University of Missouri, Columbia, and I got a degree in broadcast journalism. And the reason why is because you have to be able to communicate. And so whether it's through writing, whether it's through actual verbal or even through visual communication, that's the key, right? So pivoting to graduate school, I took one class in theory and I thought, oh, well, that's tasty. I think I'd like a little bit more. Just a little. I've never hurt anybody. And then I got a degree. So so I am a licensed professional counselor. That is my licensure, and to reach that level, like all the other wonderful ladies have experienced, tremendous amount of after graduate work, right? 3,000 hours, 1,500 supervised, pass the boards, maintain that license forevermore, all the things, right? And so I've run the gambit. I began this experience in community mental health, and I maintained a contract with a local community mental health center for over 10 years. So very, very pragmatic approach to everything, I feel, is one of the hallmarks of counseling. Everyone has spoken to systems with a strong case management background. I'm going to be at your school. I'm going to be talking to your preacher, your teacher, your mama, your daddy, your boss. I don't care, because it's the whole person. We're going to invite all of you in, right, with proper HIPAA guidance and all of that and releases of information. But a person standing in front of me is just one person standing in front of me, and that's not telling their whole story. And so I'm big on coordination. I also come from a background of doing in-home, which used to give everybody in my family, and especially my sweet husband, quite a difficult time, because I live north of Kansas City, okay? And doing in-home provides something that I think the office and certainly telehealth does not. And I love the concept of the table, which is this: giving a homework assignment and saying to a family system, hey, you guys need to eat dinner together 3 times a week. When you're in home, you learn that maybe there is no table. You also will learn maybe that there is no food in that house. And so you learn real quick what to work with, because you might have all these fun resources and homework assignments and wonderful coping skills that you learned in school. But if you don't have the ability to take that home and actually apply it, what are we doing? Nothing. Okay. And so I'm a doer. And I think that is one of the things about being a counselor is we exist not in theory, but in practice. And so if it does not work, it cannot work. So we don't do it. Right. So for me, there's any number of areas that you can, utilize counselors. You do see us in assessment. I spent a year in ER doing assessments for people who were at risk for themselves and others. Spent a tremendous amount of time in licensure process and case management, which, man, anybody who needs a background training, hit that up, because that'll teach you everything you ever wanted to know and then some, right? Certainly there's the aspect of research. We participate in a lot of research, whether it's the writings, whether it's actively participating in observations and cohort. And then, of course, direct service, the various populations that we work with. I mean, I started in autism in children. And by the way, let's just keep the train going. I got diagnosed this year. I always knew it. I knew I was weird. I would just say that I'm Erica. They would say, what are you? And I'd say, I'm an Erica. My family never understood why I referred to other people as humans. And it's because, well, I'm not necessarily one. That being said, when I finally got the diagnosis, I mean, I wasn't surprised, but I remember telling some family members and they were like, well, that's just not possible because you have good grades and you're so smart. Well, I'm a master pattern detector, and I also want to throw in that I was selectively mute for the first 4 years of my life and ran around on my tiptoes, and I could memorize anything. No signs were there at all. No. I don't know where this came from. I just woke up like this. But that being said, how people can certainly work to, acknowledge that this thing is visible and invisible is, I think we take and we start talking about it. So yeah, I mean, of course, I agree with the things that have been discussed in terms of the symptoms can be quite visible. They can be invisible. This concept of neurodivergency, I agree wholeheartedly. It should not be identified as a disability. I don't know if we should go so forward into saying this is a superpower, because I think that in itself suggests that this is easy. But I also don't want to promote that this is an illness. I won't get political, but are some of our friends at Health and Human Services that are suggesting that we need a cure. I want to say this: not one person has ever died from autism. We need cures, but it won't be for that, boo. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Renata, please you answer the question as well as tell us more about sex.
So similar to everybody else, did all the things to get my license. So my degree is in marriage family therapy, and I like to say that God was being funny and had me go to a party school that said you're going to go to seminary to get your master's. So it was a very interesting experience to go to seminary school to get your master's. Great experience. It was what I needed, but at the time I thought it was just a joke. But it is what it is. I learned a lot, got what I needed, and I'm able to do some stuff. So my license is in, I'm a licensed mental health counselor. And in Georgia, I'm a licensed professional counselor. They're pretty much the same thing. It's just in different states, they're called different things. So with our particular practice, we're really big on helping people kind of manage, we like to call them life transitions. So something big happened and you're just struggling to navigate through that. So it could be, I'm an empty nester. I got in a relationship and I haven't been dating in years. I'm trying to figure out what sexuality even means because I was always told, don't talk about it. Or we get a lot of over and high achievers. And so we help them learn how to have boundaries and learn that that's okay. And to learn that you have probably adopted other people's expectations and decided to take them on as your own, even though that's not really what you wanted, but it feels like it's the right thing to do. So kind of, I agree with a lot what everybody has said. I think we do a lot of disservice by having unrealistic expectations on people. We give a lot of expectations, and most of the time nobody wants to meet them. Not even the expectations that they even wanted. So for example, I'm working with someone now that had to give themselves permission to say that I am an adult. And when I'm with my family, I can show up as an adult. This is someone that's in their 30s. But in their family, that was not a thing. But now they're in a space where they have given themselves permission to even say that. Or I have another client that I'm working with where we are, again, unpacking what sexuality looks like, especially in the church, because we don't talk. I shouldn't say that. Some churches talk about it, but it's not a very common thing to hear people talk about sexuality in the church. And if you do it, don't do it. But we're not having the conversations of, okay, I'm married, now what? I get a lot of married women that are like, I don't know what to do. I was told don't do it, and now I'm married. I don't know what to do with my husband. Or I get a lot of, how do I even advocate for myself? Like when I go to the doctor, how do I even say, I want to get a full STD or STI panel? Or how do I even say, I'm allergic to these type of condoms. You can't use these type of condoms. Or I even want you to use a condom. Just simple things like that a lot of times, like we've been saying again and again, language is so important. And it's important to be able to advocate for yourself and for others. And I agree again with the mental health can be invisible, it can be visible. It can be all those things. I think it just kind of depends on how you look at it and how much power you want to take or give back when it comes to it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Renata and Dina. Thank you so much. Being the best for last. No, not the best for last, but coming in after all of this genius has been poured out into it. And you're going to also share just how amazing you are. So go ahead and please answer the question and tell us about your designation.
Say my trajectory, my undergrad was in biomed and pre-med. And I graduated from one of our prestigious schools here, Rochester Institute of Technology. And I was going to go on to med school, but our son went to college. And I was like, yeah, can't really afford this. And as you know, there's a process to all of this. But here in Rochester, we had an incident that happened, and our former mayor had started a raise commission. And from that, I was involved in the mental health work group, which I'm so grateful for, because the former chair over at University of Rochester, which is where my school lies at the School of Medicine and Dentistry for marriage and family therapists, said, at that time I had got approved to go to one of our other colleges for mental health counseling. But after I sat on that group, he was like, yeah, no, I think you need, if you're not going to go back to med school, then you really need to think about marriage and family therapy. And I was like, oh, that's not really mental health. All I'm hearing is marriage, which is what people say to me when they hear that I'm a marriage and family therapist. They're like, oh, you only deal with marriage. Oh, me and my husband or my wife, we're going to come meet you. And I was like, yeah, it's more than that. It goes beyond that. And so I'm really grateful for that path because I truly work with individual couples and families. But I also look at the biopsychosocial and spiritual component of it. I also look at, or as our profession, we look at the intergenerational patterns and themes. So we are very notorious for implementing in our sessions with genograms, right? And I'm not saying other professions don't do that, but we are very curious and we want to know more about the family system because as many of you have said on this call, talk about generational curses. I was raised with pastor and wife, and you didn't talk about many things when it attributed to mental health, right? What goes in this house stays in this house. And so at times it was presented, it's not okay. And so I always tell people, okay, so now that we're moving forward and trying to break some of those curses, what does that mean to you? How do you get help? How do you know that it's okay to get help? So here also at St. Joe's, I do a lot of trauma focused work. I also work with a lot of cognitive behavioral therapists. But what I will say to you is we're really big on narrative therapy. Reason being, every person that comes into my chair, I let them know I am not the expert. You are the expert of your life. I am here as that guide because we're going to work together, put tools together, implement that. And a lot of times they can do that. They just need that guide to help them get there, right? So I'm not here looking as a hierarchy. I'm trying to tell you what to do, which is why I chose St. Joseph as one of my sites, because also here we do not have to diagnose because we're not billed by insurance, right? The insurance is not telling us what to do. That could be a whole topic because that could be a whole topic in itself. And so not being driven by that, I can use Z codes of social determinants of health is extricating your depression, your anxiety, all these things that is, you don't have transportation, you don't have housing. So yes, it's going to cause depression, anxiety, worrying about the future. So all these different things that come into play. So I really, really love this profession. And to answer that question, because everybody has answered it so nicely, I just did a workshop on Saturday. And one thing I pointed out is those somatic symptoms, right? And so that's the visible signs that we don't even know is affecting our mental health. And so if we have anxiety real bad, right, we might get headaches, we might have stomach cramps, we might, have fluttering. We don't know what is going on. We might be depressed where we are emotionally crying. So how does it impact our life? And those invisible, the things that you can't see, not knowing that someone is not okay because they put on this mask, they put on this front, right? And then the neurodivergent disability, so autism and ADHD. And I will say this because it frustrates me. This could also be another panel. Because I sit on several different work groups or boards. And one thing that comes up is when someone, specifically in the Black and Brown community, the first thing they want to do is label somebody with autism and ADHD. And I'm quickly to say, well, hold on. Let's talk about the family system. Let's see if there's trauma. Let's see what is going on besides just giving a label. So I'm quick to say, pause, listen, let's slow down. Let's really know what is going on. And first of all, build rapport before we slap a label on that could be detriment for the rest of their life, or that you don't give them the tools or the education of why this label is important for you. So education is huge too. So I just appreciate that doctor. I always tell him all the time, I'm grateful you put me down this path because I really didn't know that direction. And I found, and I feel like marriage and family therapists, not discounting the other ones, but we are great people and we look across the system.
Thank you so much. I'm going to just throw my hat in here for this question really quick, and then we got to go laser fast for the last question. It's going to be a closing remark because we only got 5 minutes left, all right? And we had so much to talk about, and it's going to be an hour, you all. That's all I got time for. I just want to tell you, if y'all want to do another panel, we can talk about it. But anyway, I'm a licensed professional counselor. And I got bamboozled into this. I wanted to be a social worker. Then I decided, no, I don't want to do that. Let me do a master's in civic leadership as well as licensed professional counselor because Lipscomb allowed me to do them at the same time because I'm a glutton for punishment, aka I got a whole lot going on. I'm very multifaceted. So that's why I did those two together. But I wanted to do marriage and family therapy. But before that, I got into Vanderbilt in divinity school to do pastoral counseling. Yes. This all over the place. And then guess what? That's all I did was take the skills and did what I want to do. That's what I did. I'm also specialized in play and expressive arts therapy. So I love dealing with that child because most of the time folks come to me because I'm a mother-like figure, and we're gonna talk to that little girl, that little boy that has had something happen to them and clear up that. I like to go to the root of whatever it is. And then the root always has the family dynamic in there. And so I do lots of different things. And I love the LPC designation because it is the only one that talks about or deals with the professional life of people. So we talk about, and we are trained in career counseling and in those kind of things, your professional life and working on that. So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. I have labeled myself the therapeutic COO. And I really love working with entrepreneurs, and I say, thriving you, thriving business. Just wanted to share that bit about my piece and how I do it and how I use my thing. I have a book called Honey, You Need Counseling Skills. And I'm talking about everybody. Heal yourself, ignite the leader, grow your business. That's my book. I said, people may not even come to therapy. They're not going to do it. But maybe they'll read this guided journal and actually find themselves and get some skills so they can help a lot of different people. Okay, my book, Honey, You Need Counseling Skills. Anyway, so the last question I want to go around. Oh my goodness, we only have 2 minutes. So if you all have to drop off because this was supposed to be a noon thing, please do. And I apologize that I was not a very good timekeeper on this. And it's just so much good information. So I want you to go around, give me your closing remarks, how people can reach you, and then who do you serve? What brought you to serve them? What are your thoughts on the state of mental health? I know this is a lot. And what are solutions and plans you want to address? Now, you don't have to answer all these questions. Just answer something and at least tell people how to reach you. All right? Go ahead, Dr. Chanel.
I don't even know where to start. I'm going to do it real quick. I'm trying to do it real quick. I wanted to say this in terms of kind of the status of mental health right now. With all the DEI cuts, funding cuts, and research for our LGBTQ, Black and Brown folks, I think it's really important that, and thank you, Erica, for giving us this platform to discuss these things, but really important that we let people know that we exist, right? To work with our neurodivergent folks, work with our Black and Brown folks, work with our immigrants, refugees that need the assistance right now, because mental health is even more so important. And just making sure we let people know that there are people curating spaces that are warm, welcoming, inviting for folks to kind of unravel in that space. Again, founder, CEO, Blue Sage Wellness. You can find me, Blue Sage Wellness PLLC. Again, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. Virtual appointments and in-person appointments if they're located in Nashville. I also see clients in New York, and I have clinicians that see clients in Kentucky as well. So we're trying to get more licenses to capture all the folks because we are curating this space. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Misbah.
Okay, so Umid Center for Healing Relationships is in Towson, Maryland. So we actually have a physical space that I opened up 2 years ago, and it's amazing. If you guys are ever in the area, definitely stop by. But we also do virtual therapy as well. So I opened up the space because I wanted to reach out to the kids, honestly. I wanted to reach out to the little ones that we can't do individual therapy with or any therapy virtually, right? So we provide individual therapy, family, couples, groups, as I mentioned earlier, to all age groups. We are, even though this is a challenge, we are credentialed with Blue Cross Blue Shield and at Cigna and Medicaid as well. So the goal is to get more credentialing because it's about access. For me, it's about access, right? People can't self-pay. They can't. if we started doing self-pay work, we would be in poverty ourselves, or we would only be able to service a certain level of families who belong to the higher privileged economic class, right? So accessibility is important. You can find me on Psychology Today with my name. You can, Umid Center is on Psychology Today as well. Google it, Google my name. A lot of different things will come up. Yeah, and my goal overall is to go international. So I do provide service bilingual. I have a lot of Muslim clients, families who are from the South Asian diaspora. So I've freshened up on my language skills as well. And I hope to open up Umid Center in different states. I'm also licensed in Virginia, Delaware, and Pennsylvania, along with Maryland. Okay. And yeah, and we have this panel now. So I'm sure there's so much collaboration we can do after this.
Thank you so much. And Erica Priscilla?
Yes, so you can find me at Erica Priscilla with 2Ls.com. My website has everything you need to follow on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and connect with any of the beautiful offerings that we provide. I believe that growth and healing are lifelong, and that if we don't take care of ourselves, we're not going to be able to be of service for others. And right now, I'm really focused on serving our healers, like our Heal the Healers, our incredible community right here, to really kind of connect with themselves, recharge, rejuvenate, renew. And so if you are looking for corporate wellness or nonprofit wellness spaces and circles that you want us to come and lead, we're here to support that. And if you're interested in joining our retreat in Colombia, please do find us at ericapriscilla.com. We already are halfway filled and we haven't really released it or promoted it. And do you know what that means? That means that we are recognizing that we need our own time to rejuvenate, renew ourselves, and connect. And we know that we also need community. There's a lot of the times that we're working in silos and we're just focused on what we're doing, but then we're not filling our cups. So, and then we have amazing practitioners that are bilingual, bicultural, that can support, and we do take insurance. And we also have a nonprofit that provides accessible to almost no cost of the same exact things that we're providing in our for-profit, for our nonprofit, for our communities that do not have access to insurance and cannot have a sliding scale. So I love collaborating. So thank you so much, Erica, for bringing me here and meeting these incredible, beautiful humans. We're all servant leaders, and we're giving to our community, but let's also just, big hug for ourselves for doing the work that we do so we can continue supporting others.
Thank you so much. Erica Spring.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again, Erica, for doing this. And it was amazing to meet you, ladies. I hope that we can continue on, maybe do another one of these. I can be found anywhere. Give me a Google. Erica Spring. Therapy with Erica is my thing. I am on LinkedIn. I'm on Insta. I make really, really, really cringe videos. That's what my 15-year-old says. They're super cringe. But I just like being weird in public. That being said, when we think about some of the things that we're facing with mental health right now, I want to validate all the things that have already been said: accessibility, funding, all of the things. I think we are facing unprecedented times with the politicalization of accessing basic health care. We know that our research is being literally erased by the NIH in real time. And we know that people of color, immigrants, women, trans, all of the groups who suffer at far bigger rates of things like trauma and complex PTSD are being outright left behind. They've never been included. We got really dang close. And because of women like us, we're going to be the torchbearers, the flamethrowers who continue insisting we deserve a place at the table. Our people deserve treatment. They deserve better access. And damn it, we need some funding. And I love you guys.
All right. And Renata?
So I would say, one, we were not built to do this by ourselves. That's just not, as a human, we are not built to go through life by ourselves. So there's nothing wrong with reaching out to people. I think it's super important that we normalize. All of us go through challenges, even all this education in this space. All of us can say we went through something at some point. Most of us said that's why we ended up being therapists in the first place, was the stuff that we went through. So just recognizing that therapists go to therapy, therapists have support, and we want to normalize that for everybody. Again, you can Empower Live is probably the easiest way because we do take insurance. So we take the major ones, Anthem, Aetna, Magellan, Cigna, and we take Anthem Medicaid. Again, like has already been said, we try to take away barriers as much as possible. We also have a sliding scale if need be. For those that don't want to commit to therapy just yet, we do offer workshops and retreats. We have one coming up in Vegas in September, and one coming up in Cancun in November. And both of those are focusing on the ideal of you being enough, because we don't always think that we are enough. So again, you can find me. My name is very unique, so Renata Dalton. You can quickly Google that, or Empowered Living, or Beautifully Human. So again, thank you, Erica. Thank you, amazing ladies, for sharing this space today.
And Dina.
Thank you so much, Erica, and everyone on here on the panel. You can Google me and I come right up. Psychology Today. Also, St. Joseph Neighborhood Center here in Rochester, New York. So my name, D. Johnson at sjnccenter.org. And I would say for folks to just know that it's okay, right? Being able to break some of those curses, or not even saying curses, like just break some of the habits that our ancestors may have had or inherited down to them. How do we break that and start having more conversations to know that it is okay? I like to, sometimes we use these labels, and again, curses could be quite harsh. And so how do we just learn that, okay, it's okay to talk about things?
Thank you so much, Dina. And I want to end it by saying that the most important thing you can have, and I think it was said here, was relationship. Each one of us is a relationship that you can have. You just have to allow yourself to have it, allow your well-being, and allow yourself to have the experience. I just reached out to people on my LinkedIn and said, I want to do a panel. Let me look up all the people who I want to find. And now I was able to have this experience where I am grateful to have been here to hear from each one of these ladies. And I know that this benefited so many people and will benefit people because it's going to be out there in the world. And just remember that it doesn't matter about the designation. If you just feel drawn to someone, go reach out to them. If they're not the fit, they will tell you where to go, what to do. We are very, very helpful. Like, we will make sure you get to wherever you need to be in order for you to be successful. And you all, thank you so much for saying yes. Thank you so much for saying yes. Oh my goodness. And shine your light today. I'm a visibility wing woman, and I love curating spaces of this kind of thing. Like, wow, this was so powerful as we are celebrating Mental Health Awareness Month. Yay!
We love it, Erica. Thank you.
Create a thriving rest of your day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.